Hi, story lovers. Welcome to Our Only Thing. I'm Pablo, your trusty devourer of stories. Grace and I recently reviewed 28 Years Later and detailed our things we would change about it. My thing I would change was the opening scene, which I felt did not live up to the opening sequence of the second film in the series, 28 Weeks Later. Today, I want to talk to you about why that opening scene of 28 Weeks Later is so good and point out some of the details you might have missed. If you do a cursory search for this scene online, you'll find people describing it with words like intense, shocking, unforgettable, and one of the best. I have to say, I agree with all of that. In a film that is now indisputably the worst in a trilogy, the opening scene is an outlier that, back in 2007, was worth the price of admission. So, let's break it down and maybe figure out exactly why it stood the test of time. The 28 Later series is obsessed with numbers, so let's start there. The opening scene is 10 minutes and 43 seconds long, from the first image after the studio logos to the opening text cards. The total runtime of the film is 1 hour and 39 minutes, or, in other words, 5,940 seconds. The opening sequence is 643 seconds, so this accounts for almost 1/9 of the entire film. And if you've watched our breakdown of The Bear, you know that every second counts. The first image we see is a match being struck on a matchbox in the dark. I promise I'm not going to dwell on every little thing this much, but there's so much information in this image. First, in most literal terms, it communicates that there is no electricity here. This is a situation of darkness and lack of technology. More subliminally, a struck match evokes ideas of diminishing or fleeting time and detonation. In other words, lighting a fuse on a powder keg. Or, if you want to be less dramatic, lighting a candle that can only burn for so long. The candlelight illuminates our next images, which is a brief extreme close-up of the eyes of Alice. You could be forgiven for missing this detail, as the digital cinematography and dim lighting make this really difficult to make out, but she has heterochromia, meaning her eyes are two different colors.
Their mother had very special blood, a natural kind of immunity to the virus.
But they might have.
It's a possibility.
We get a bit of a wider shot to see that Alice was the one holding the match to light a candle being held by her husband, Don.
What are you gonna cook?
Your favorite?
What again?
Which, again, is subtle reinforcement of the information about the lack of resources they have and the monotony. We also see that there's a small coal-burning stove going, which Don tosses a book into. Alice pulls a can of tomatoes from the cupboard, announcing it's the last one.
Got 5 tins of chickpeas. That should last at least 5 years, eh?
Again, information.
That's a glass of wine.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
You're in luck. Drinkable.
In the span of about a minute, as we watch a sad pot of pasta cook, it's pretty clear to the audience that we are bunkered with Alice and Don. We're in survival mode, and it's not so bad. We have food, we have wine, we have each other. We can get used to this. Now, here's the first complication. Alice looks over at a photo of an elderly couple with 2 children, and her demeanor changes.
You all right, sweetheart?
I'm fine.
She feigns it first, but quickly breaks and admits she's not fine.
Well, I'm not fine. It's all fucked.
Nice callback here to 28 Days Later.
It's all fucked.
Alice asks Don if he thinks their children are safe.
Listen, they're far, far away. And they're safe and sound. Don't worry. Gorgeous.
This also matters later. They get close to each other to have a passionate smooch. Now here's the second complication. They are interrupted by the elderly woman from the photo, Sally, played by Amanda Walker. Fun fact, Amanda Walker portrays one half of the wealthy arms dealer married couple in Ruben Östlund's 2022 film Triangle of Sadness. Sally says she found a tin of chocolates in the basement and they can all enjoy them after dinner. Now we know that there are at least 3 people in this bunker, and very quickly we are introduced to the 4th. Jacob sits reading a newspaper, which is such a mundane thing to do that it could easily slip past you how silly or possibly passive-aggressive an activity this is in the post-apocalypse. After some quick shots of black and white photos and trinkets, we meet our 5th bunker mate, Jeff, the other half of the elderly couple, played by Garfield Morgan in his final film role. Our merry crew gathers around the dinner table as our final introduced bunker mate comes downstairs. This is Karen, and she's the first member of the group that Alice serves a plate of food, but Karen immediately passes it off to an empty dinner table placement next to her.
Be hungry when he gets back. He'll want something to eat.
Uncomfortable eyes dart around the table, but they're interrupted by Jacob.
It's been 5 days since your boyfriend ran out on us.
Again, numbers. 5 is a pretty definitive he's not coming back time frame here, and it's foreshadowing later for the bit of info we get in title cards that 5 is the magic number of weeks before the infected die of starvation.
If he's still breathing, which I doubt, it won't be the pasta he's interested in.
Jacob!
We'll see soon what Jacob's pragmatism gets him. Just as he finishes his thought with, "It's just us in here and them out there,"
Sam!
Quiet!
It's a boy.
Wait. Don't know who's out there.
Don, it's a kid!
and in probably the most fateful yes dear in film history, Don gets up to remove the barricades from their door, lifts up a crowbar, and throws the door open to be blinded by sunlight and the vision of an actual small boy who couldn't be more than 10 years old. They hustle him into the house and relatch the door. Alice embraces the boy as we get an ominous shot of the other 4 bunker mates who have not budged from their seats at the dinner table, watching on in apprehension. Alice shoots Don a dirty look to say, "How could you have almost let this precious boy stay out there to die?" Cut to the boy scarfing down dead boyfriend's plate of pasta. If you didn't know what was coming next, you might think this is a poetic transfer of resources, but this actually reads as bad karma. Don't ever eat a dead man's food, especially when it contains the last can of tomatoes. As the group asks the boy questions about where he came from and what it's like out there, Karen wanders off, seemingly accepting that her boyfriend is not ever going to knock on that door. It's a masterful bit of setting up calamity, as Karen isn't hearing the increasingly foreboding news carried by the boy.
Who were chasing you?
My mum. My dad. They're trying to kill me. There's others too.
How many?
Loads.
That he just led back to this house. Right on cue, an infected smashes the window and grabs Karen's arm. Of all people, Jacob, the one who was so cruel to Karen before, rushes in first to help, but it's too late. Jacob is able to pry her away from the infected, and she falls on top of him, vomiting blood. Thankfully, none of the blood lands on Jacob's face. This guy has all the luck. Or does he? In any case, Don saves him by smashing Karen on the back of the head with his crowbar. A risky gambit considering all of the blood splatter, but no one else gets infected. Jacob hustles out of the way, and Don tells everyone to run while he holds off the infected with the crowbar. This is an interesting bit of characterization given what comes later. Don plays the hero when it's somewhat convenient. Infected continue bursting through barricaded windows, forcing an escape upstairs for Alice and the boy. Meanwhile, Jacob, Sally, and Jeff have escaped to a nearby barn? So now we know sort of what the outer bearings are for these people. Isolation and a whole lot of nothing out there. It's Jeff's turn to play hero.
Give me a hand! Give me a hand!
Back at the house, Alice has lost track of the boy and searches for him in the bedroom, and Don gets the crowbar knocked from his hands, so he has to retreat. He hears Alice screaming for the boy and heads upstairs to find her. And now for the defining moment of this sequence. Don makes his way to the bedroom and locks the door behind him. Alice has just found the boy hiding in the closet.
Don! Help us!
And the look on Don's face says it all. It doesn't seem so much as he's decided he's going to leave his wife to die, as it is simply innate cowardice that won't allow him to act. As Alice and the boy scramble to a nearby closet and shut the door on the swarm of infected with little hope of survival, Don squeezes out of the bathroom window like a slimy, cowardly snake onto the back porch roof and escapes. As Don runs for his life, he glances back as he runs, just in time to see Alice disappear from the window. Don? More like gone. The music amps up on a crane shot of Don running past the farm's gates, and it looks like he might be safe with no infected around him. But then the perspective cuts to look over Don's shoulder, where a dozen infected are gaining on him. Then, a cut to a shaky cam attached to one of the pursuing infected gives us the sense of just how fast these fuckers are running. Don seems destined to not remarry. Off in the distance, we see the blurry silhouette of yet more infected cresting the nearby hill. Cut to a side profile close-up on Don's exhausted face as he struggles to continue running, eyes straight ahead, not even seeing the horde of infected taking angles of pursuit downhill to intercept him. He finally turns and spots them, and the music gets louder as he finds another gear to try and outrun certain death. The horde converges and are gaining on Don as he reaches a nearby dock for a canal. Wouldn't you know it, but Jacob is already there. Jacob is in the process of untying a small speedboat from the dock. Don hops straight into the boat, but the extra few seconds Jacob uses to push the boat off prove fatal. Don holds out a hand for him and Jacob is able to grab it, but it's not enough. Jacob has already turned infected and is trying to climb onto the boat to kill Don. The boat spins around from the counterweight as Don struggles to kick Jacob away. He finally manages to do so and chops him up with the boat motor. More infected trudge into the water, but Don is free. The moment that sent movie theaters around the nation into hysterics in 2007. Any good horror film fan knows that good horror moments are the same as good joke punchlines, letting the pressure valve release at just the right time. But one good laugh deserves one good bit of cruelty. Don turns back to look at the big picture window where he last saw his wife. It's still, it's empty. Don ran away to survive, and now he has to live with what he's done. There's no running from that. We cut to a still, quiet crane shot of the farmhouse, now no infected or survivors in sight. No one would now guess the carnage that unfolded here over the last 10 minutes. We pan from a shot of Don's face to a tranquil bit of foam cresting against the canal wall, back to Don's troubled face. And we end looking up as the blue sky zips past while the boat continues racing away from tragedy and choices one can't take back. It's a compelling bit of drama, but ultimately proves to be too much of the focus, especially in the final act of the film, when maybe that aspect of the story should have already run its course. I mean, how does infected Don keep showing up to terrorize his kids even after they speed away in a car? We may never know. Tell us what you think about this scene and the 28 Later franchise in the comments, and send us your reviews of 28 Years Later on social now that it's out. Thanks for watching. See you next time.